I'm Erich Seamon. I'm the REACCH Environmental Data Manager. And so I'm going to talk briefly about some of the same things that Vaughn talked about. And just kind of to highlight and touch upon what Vaughn was saying, I think that one of the key points that he had made about thinking about how you want to visualize your data and how you might want to get information out, how that might be beneficial to your research in a collaborative fashion is a really important thing, particularly in the position that we're at right now. And kind of also to build upon what Vaughn said, you know, we have done a lot in the last year to build out systems to get us to a point where you can start to do those things. So where you can start to think about how you might want to analyze your data so that we can start to put that in place. And I think we've needed a good amount of time to kind of lay that foundation. But I think we do have a pretty strong foundation now. I think that we're in a position to do that. And so to that extent, I'm just going to touch upon a couple things that are a big picture in terms of our system and how you're going to be accessing that information. And the other thing I would touch upon is that I'm going to be giving an hour-long presentation on Thursday, so I'm going to go into a lot more detail. So like Vaughn mentioned, we do have a portal now that is our website, REACCHPNA.org, that is the entry point to where you're going to go to get access to analytical information, to upload data. I'm going to be issuing passwords in the next day, right before my presentation. So on Thursday, so when we go through things, you should have a login that will allow you to go to the portal and log in and peruse it and check it out. So this is really a key focal point, so I would suggest going to the website and checking it out and becoming more familiar with it because that's how you're going to access information. The other thing is that we've built out a ton of functions that allow you to provide member feedback, instructions on how to access data. And so I would also encourage you to look at those things and to give us feedback because I think we're at a point where we want to better understand how you want to visualize specifically your data, maybe with other data sets. And you know, that's an important thing. We need that feedback. So Vaughn mentioned about accessing and analyzing data, but from a broader picture, one of the things that I've kind of termed on our website are these libraries, which are essentially these functional groupings of information. So you're going to go onto our website. Right now, if you go just from a public perspective, you'll see a presentations and publications library. You'll see a policy library. But when you log in, you're going to see an analysis library. You're going to see a documentation library. You're going to see a media library. And all of those contain information, some of which is publicly available, some of which is not publicly available, that is really there to allow you to review that, and we want to build upon that. For an example, the media library has all of our integration meetings. It has some metadata training. It has the video from last year's annual meeting. So we want to build upon that, and I really see these libraries as a way we're going to continue to feed information into these locations so you can access them, and it also allows us to securely distribute that information so certain members of the project can access it. The other thing I would mention is I'm going to be issuing these passwords, but it's just, for now, it's going to be the researchers and the students. And we do have passwords for stakeholders and other observers, but I'd like to give the researchers and the students an opportunity to check it out first, and then we can issue those other passwords as well. And you just receive it by email. So once again, the libraries are real important components, and I would check those out. They're under the Resources tab. And some of the things that Vaughn had mentioned about accessing analytical tools, you're going to access in that manner. The other thing that I've built out is some tabular functions that allow people to access information just tabularly, going and logging in and being able to see a data set list and looking at that data set in a tabular form. Keep in mind that there's limited amount of data up there, and this is something we'll get into more on Thursday, but we want to start really uploading data and populating our database. And so I think this year is going to be a big year for uploading data, meta tagging data, and as we do that, it's going to extend the capabilities of our analysis. So Vaughn showed this, and I'm going to be very brief because I don't have a lot of time, but I think he did an excellent job of giving a high-level perspective. But I think some key points are that, you know, we have a website that you're going to enter into, and from that website, you're going to be able to upload data, you're going to be able to search for data, and it goes into a database and then gets re-exposed either as a web service, a web page that you're going to be able to look at mapping information and do queries. But for those who are also more, maybe more sophisticated in their analysis, you'll be able to use that same data within ArcGIS to analyze. You'll be able to extract that data and do analysis with a statistical package like R or SPSS. And we really, and at the same time, some of these services we can make available to the public, you know, based on the security rules that we want to have in place for certain data sets. So you're gonna see some of this stuff over the next few days. I would just suggest, you know, looking at it as a beta perspective. It's definitely not final, and we want your feedback. There's a member feedback form. Please give us input. I'll be here, obviously, all 3 days, but you can certainly use the website as a mechanism to provide feedback. So you'll hear more about this on Thursday, and then also you're going to hear more from a couple of folks that are working on our data management team in regards to analysis and the data uploading. So, okay, that's it. That's my time. Thank you.